Today, we would like to discuss about two types of pollution. Firstly is solid waste pollution and secondly is water pollution. Solid waste pollution is a term for man-made waste basically consisting of plastic litter discarded in the environment and often found in the sea or along the coastline, either floating on the surface or submerged. It is a result of consumers' waste disposal, inappropriate rubbish collection and others. Meanwhile, water pollution occurs when harmful substances, often chemicals or microorganisms, contaminate the river, lake or ocean, degrading water quality and rendering it toxic to human or the environment. But what is the reason? Water is uniquely vulnerable to pollution. Known as a universal solvent, water is able to dissolve more substances than any other liquid on earth. It is why water is so easily polluted.
There are two current issues of solid waste in Malaysia. These issues are at constant level and almost no way out for solution. 1. Plastic waste. Plastic takes almost 50 to 200 years estimated to decompose. Because of that, plastic's number growing up every day, every year, take over all the spaces at the landfill. The statistics shown from this pie chart explains very well about how massive they are in number. The more the quantity of plastic, it can affect land pollution at the landfill. Second, waste of asbestos. Asbestos conventionally used as part of the building. Nowadays, many developers wanted to modernize the building by take off the asbestos, but without following any standard of procedure. Little do they know, asbestos can bind with air and cause dust pollution and affect human and cause lung cancer.
Toxic waste in water can define if it is poisonous, radioactive, explosive, and any other chemical waste in the water. Source of toxic chemical include improperly disposed wastewater from industrial plants. Based on statistics from Department of Environment, there are 477 rivers in the Malaysia. From the 477, there are 305 rivers that classified with a class 2, which is 63.94%. 2016, the BOD status is higher. BOD is very dangerous to human and animal. In petroleum pollution, it can be categorized with ammoniacal nitrogen (AN). With the graph of trend of the river water quality status based on ANSAP index around 2010, ammoniacal nitrogen reading is the higher reading. Petroleum pollution can cause top surface of the water fully filled with the oil. It's very dangerous. Sediment, in example silt, resulting from soil erosion can be carried into water bodies by surface runoff. Also, it can disrupt the reproductive cycle of fish and other forms of life. And when it settles out of suspension, it can smother bottom-dwelling organisms.
The pollution that is happening at this point is indeed something that cannot be taken lightly. Therefore, strict measures need to be taken by certain parties to overcome or at least reduce the problem. For plastic disposal, among the roles that we can perform as consumers is to avoid the use of plastic bag when doing shopping. Instead of use this material, we can use other environmentally friendly alternatives. For example, using a glove bag, jute, or hemp. On behalf of the government, plastic recycling measures are the best alternative in reducing such waste. One simple example that can be taken is such as the construction of furniture based on plastic waste sources. This in turn does not only reduce the pollution, but can also increase the productivity of our country. For open asbestos disposal, stricter law enforcement need to be implemented by the government. This is because asbestos is one of the sources of minerals that are quite harmful to humans. In addition to chemicals that increase pollution to natural resources, asbestos can also have adverse effects on human life, such as lung cancer.
Mitigation strategies for water pollution divided by 3, which is due to the human activities, industrial waste, and lastly is due to the oil and leakage from the ship. We can reduce of single use of plastics by several types of method. Okay, before that, what does it mean by single use of plastics? According to the Wikipedia, single-use plastics are goods that are made primarily from fossil fuels and are meant to be disposed of right after use, often in mere minutes. Single-use plastics are most commonly used for packaging and serviceware such as bottles, wrappers, straps, straws, and bags. Marine animals bear the burden of this influx of garbage into their habitats. A recent studies found that in the guts of 90% of the seabirds and 100% of the turtles are plastics. So, to mitigate this, we can reduce the single use of plastic by turning into multi-use of plastics. Instead of throwing away plastic or daily container, next is due to the industrial waste. We as a general public must take action to prevent from illegal wastage into our river and ocean by report any suspicious discharge activities to the authorities. Almost half of Malaysia's main rivers have ended up being polluted due to the lack of effective enforcement action against the polluters. The action will cause more of our rivers to be polluted and eventually be declared dead. It is important that communities be made aware of river pollution. This is because rivers are our source of water. Without water, we cannot possibly live. Our homes may not be situated close to a river, but in truth, we are living on its basin. The basin is actually a catchment area from where water flows into a tributary and finally into the main river itself. As conclusion, the local communities should serve as the eyes and ears of the local authorities and report any suspicious activities. To prevent the oil leakage on the ocean, we can use other alternatives such as the double-hull tanker to the cargo. Vessels with a single hull pose a greater threat to the marine environment in the event of an incident compared to ships with double hulls. Ships with single hulls have only one layer of watertight structure between their cargo and the ocean. In comparison, as the name suggests, ships with double hulls have two watertight layers on the bottoms and sides of the ships. Studies show that, depending on impact speed, the extra layer can reduce the likelihood of water pollution following on incidents that damage a ship's hull by more than 60% when compared to a single hull structure.